A very good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome to the Self-Isolation Choir's Mozart Requiem course. It's so wonderful to see you all. A very happy new year to everybody. If you're joining us for the first time today, a very warm welcome in particular to you. My name is Ben. You're very welcome, all of you. I can't wait to get started on this piece, and I can see from the comments that you can't wait either. It is so lovely to be here. And as I say, I hope everyone is keeping well and keeping safe. I'm going to do my customary sound checks as I'm here a little bit early. So bear with me, and then we will say hello to everybody. I'm just going to double check everything sounds okay through this. Good. That's sounding all right. Marvellous. So I'm just, as I say, going to do my sound checks. That was the first one. And now I'm going to do another one. I'm going to hear a bit of piano. It's lovely to see everybody. Okay, that's sounding all right. Let's have a bit of the Fieri consort. Oh, I've had so much fun today, folks, getting this all together, loading up all the tracks, listening to them. Oh, so much fun. Let's have a bit of that. You know, let's have the Kyrie. You can't beat the Kyrie in the Mozart Requiem. So watch out, it might be a bit on the loud side. So on. Marvellous. Maybe just check that sounds okay. Marvellous. Excellent. How's it sounding to you, Mr. Strawn? Is it all well? Looks and sounds okay to me. So I'm going to talk to my lovely choir, and you let me know, please, sir, on my WhatsApp. That'll be great. Thank you, everybody. So let's see who's here. Gosh, 245 people online already, still with 10 minutes to go. Well, Mark has told me that we are well over 1,400 choristers for this course, which is one of the largest that we've ever had. Messiah was the biggest. Elijah was slightly larger in terms of participants than the Mozart, but only by a dozen or so. And who knows how many we'll have by the end of all this. So there's quite a few of you. But one of the lovely things, of course, about online singing is that, well, you can sit anywhere you like and you can still see the conductor. Hopefully you can all hear the conductor as well. So I do hope you all have fun. So how is everybody doing? Lots and lots of lovely people. Well, it's moving so quickly. I'll just say hello to a few people as we go. So hello, Paul and Nancy. Natty haircut. Thank you very much indeed. Very much a matter of necessity, I think, given the way that things are going in this country. It was a case of, well, take the opportunity and cut it short, because goodness knows when we'll get another one. Thank you. Mark's just sent me the message saying the sound is perfect. Thank you, Mr. S. Excellent. So hello to Brenda, joining the masses for Mozart. Excellent. Joining the masses for a Mozart Mass. Hello, Terry. Good to see you. Hello, Graham. Starting SIC with an absolute cracker. It really is, isn't it? It's a brilliant, brilliant piece. Hello to Steph. Nothing like singing these fugues. I'm with you, Steph. Absolutely. It's glorious, isn't it? Hello to Sue. Oh, it's all moving very quickly now. Megan is saying, Fieri sounding gorgeous as always. They really are. It's just such a privilege to work with these wonderful musicians. I get these emails. Hi, Ben, I've just uploaded the tracks. Have a listen. And I get to be one of the first people in the world to actually sit and appreciate these pieces. In fact, probably the first non-singing, non-producing person in the ensemble to hear it. Such an honour, and they have done a brilliant job on our Requiem, everybody. We're going to have a brilliant time singing with them. So, oh, great stuff. Hello, Biddy. Biddy thought she was late. No, Biddy, you're not late. You've still got plenty of time. Hello to Diane and George. Hello, Angela. Hello to Andy. Fabulous. Jenny says it's chilly and dry in Dorset. Chilly and moderately soggy here in North Bristol. But it's been on and off all day. Excellent. Hello, Regina from Germany. Lovely. Happy New Year to you. Hello, Linda. Any new tech kit? Yes, there's some new tech. Well, the camera's the same camera, but I've changed the distance of it, so hopefully the quality should be a bit better. The thing that's new, well, there's two things that are new. First is the keyboard, and this is the keyboard that those of you who sang on Messiah, who remember there was a bit of a saga. I ordered a keyboard in April. It's my dream keyboard. this lovely Korg instrument here, and it didn't arrive until December the 23rd, ladies and gentlemen. So Santa struggled to get it down the chimney. It's quite a substantial instrument, but it just sounds so gorgeous. This is the Bösendorfer sound. So I'm very happy with that. And the other thing that I have is a brand new vocal compressor, which arrived this afternoon, folks, which hopefully is going to help with the speech. So if I whisper, hopefully you can still hear. And if I start to sing loudly, hopefully it's not going to blast your ears out. So that's the new tech. Hopefully it's all working. Brilliant. So Liz, hello Liz. Liz says the naughty ones are always in the back row. You're quite right, Liz. And that's why when I was a teacher, I always used to have particular fun in starting at the front of the classroom, then walking to the back of the classroom so that everyone had to turn around and delivering the lesson from the very back. Oh, sir, why are you at the back? That's what I used to get. Anyway, oh, great stuff. Lots and lots of lovely people. Hello to Mary in Halifax. Hello to Moira. Great stuff. Ruth is very excited for this. I hope the scan went well today, Ruth, for your daughter. I hope that all went well, and I hope you're feeling much, much better. Brilliant. Oh, my goodness. Whoa. Hopefully you can all see what's just happened to the comments. Every now and then you see YouTube just suddenly all the comments just fly up. So hello to everybody. My goodness, 400 people. We've doubled the number, more than doubled the number of online people online in 4 minutes. Let's see if we can do it again. So by 4:58, by these maths, we should have over 800 people online. Well, we'll see, won't we? I can't keep up with this. Let's see if I can just see it. So Judith says, please click the like button. Thank you, Judith. Absolutely. I've just seen Nora fly past. Hello, Nora. Hello, Barbara from Cardiff. And there's Val. Hello, Val from sunny Leicester. Hello. Great to see you. Hello, Andy. And, oh my goodness, all sorts. Oh, what's happened there? And my screen's just suddenly gone blank. What's happened there? Bear with me a moment, everybody. Not worried at all. Let's hope that works. That's a bit strange. Hopefully I'm still on. There we are. Very odd. Okay, good. So, lots and lots of people here already. Says, and hello to Lindy. Lindy's having a cup of coffee, it looks like. Well, I'm having a cup of nice ginger tea. Here it is. I shall have a quick sip of this. Hello to Dave. Hello. Hello to Linda and Joan. Wonderful to be back. Lovely to see you. Hello, Valerie from Sedberg in Cumbria. And Pam. Fabulous. Flying past, says Mark. You're absolutely right. Pam says, so lovely to be here. So lovely to have you here, Pam. And everybody. And hello, Bridget from a very dark pool. A black pool, one might almost say. No. Fabulous. Flying past. Hello to Lindsay Cochran. Hello to Linda. And just hello, a particular hello to everybody who follows me on Twitter and sends me lovely messages. And I know that Linda has been busy. Lots of you have been busy recording Mendelssohn's Elijah, which is an enormous task. And I just want to thank you, those of you that have given up your Christmas and your New Year and still have plenty of time now. Still, was it 2 weeks, nearly just under 2 weeks to get those submissions in. So just thank you from all of us. I can't wait to hear it all come together. It's going to be phenomenal. Now, I just want to say to those of you who sang for Christmas, because I haven't seen you or spoken to you since Christmas at home, and I just want to thank you all for a beautiful, beautiful performance. And I know one of the things about this is the performance took place at various times in sort of November and December all around the world, and was then combined by the amazing Mark Cease and by Connor, our fabulous tech team. But you all did the performing, and it was just so lovely. Oh, excuse me. Oh, dear. Sorry. I had that on Do Not Disturb. I shall have to ring them later. Yeah, so it was really fascinating to see it all come together and to know that you'd put all that work in, to hear it all just sound so beautiful just before Christmas, so moving. I thought Patrick's piece was gorgeous. Thank you, everybody, for Still the Night. And I think probably my favourite one was, well, they're all so gorgeous, but Lullaby My Jesus. For some reason, that second verse, the way that the Self-Isolation Choir sang that, it really touched me. And I got a little bit emotional, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a soppy soul, so Yeah, you know me. I hope you all enjoyed it as well. I hope lots of your friends and family all took part, and I hope that they enjoyed it too. I thought the children did phenomenally well. We're just so proud of everyone. Now, my comment stream seems to have frozen, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to... not much I can do about it. Oh, there we go. So if you're watching live and you're thinking, why is he not talking to us? Well, this is why, because YouTube occasionally gets blocked. The pipeline gets slightly bunged. And so it's 4:57 when I'm getting comments from about 8 minutes ago. So not much can be done about that. So I'm just going to make sure that I've got everything I need to get started. I hope you have as well. Obviously, you're going to need your score. You're going to need a drink of some kind, something to hydrate yourselves. I will say this. If you've not sung a huge amount over the last couple of weeks, with the exception, of course, of Christmas at home and those of you that come along to my quarantine choir and so on, if you've not sung over the last couple of weeks, can I just suggest go easy on yourselves tonight? And particularly this week, and I'm talking to everybody, all of you regular singers who are singing every day with SIC. If you've not sung for a couple of weeks, this is the equivalent of going to the gym every day and then taking a break for 2 weeks. You will feel a little bit more tired tonight, perhaps, than you did in the regular rehearsals leading up to Christmas. Drink plenty of water. Don't worry if your voice is a little bit more croaky. Perhaps there's an extra layer of dust on it after Christmas. Don't worry about that. That's entirely normal. Just look after yourselves, drink plenty of water, and your voice will be good and strong in a couple of days. What would really help, of course, is just doing some nice vocal exercises. And at this point, I'm going to recommend the wonderful warm-ups by Angie Reichenbach. And I know that Angie's working on some special warm-ups, particularly for the Mozart Requiem. So look out for those. You can get those through our website. There is a small fee to pay, but they're very, very good. So I'd recommend those. I'd also, and now I'm going to have to look this up because I'm hopeless at this otherwise. Bear with me a second. But we have some social media going on, ladies and gentlemen. So obviously, I've already mentioned we are on Twitter. So you can follow the Self-Isolation Choir on Twitter. You can follow me. I'm Mr. Ben England. That's M.R. Ben England, all one word. And I'm just trying to find the message from dear Katie, who's doing a huge amount of work on Facebook and on, where is it? There we are, Facebook and on Instagram. So you can look us up on Facebook, you can look us up on Instagram and on Twitter, and you can follow us on all of those platforms, and we love hearing from you. So thank you very much indeed, everybody. Now, look, we're going to get started in a minute. All of these comments are still flying up from 5 minutes ago. So I just hope everyone's having a nice time. We're going to be starting, as I say, in under a minute. So please make sure you've got everything you need. I've got my cup of tea. I've got my score, the Fieri consort. I've got them here ready. And they're going to start singing as soon as I press the button. And I think we're ready to go otherwise. So thanks so much for being here, everybody. We've got, there we are, nearly 800 people online as we start. So do please keep chatting in the comments. That's a big part of what makes this choir special. It was formed with obviously with the intention of singing, but more importantly, so that we could be this wonderful choir family. So if you're new, please pop up and say hello, and many of these wonderful choristers will say hello to you. But I'm going to bid your comments farewell for now, and we're going to go full screen. So would you help me, please, ladies and gentlemen, those of you that know how things work, would you help me make the noise? Thank you very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to the Self-Isolation Choir's very special Mozart Requiem at Home. Now, this piece, this is really, really good music, ladies and gentlemen. I know many of you have already sung it, and you'll be there going, well, yes, absolutely it is. But if you've never sung this work before, this is a real hallmark of a good choir. Okay, we've sung Handel's Messiah this year, Vivaldi's Gloria, Mendelssohn's Elijah. The Mozart Requiem is a real jewel in the crown. And when Mark put this course together, put the Requiems at Home course with my fabulous colleague Harry, and told me that there were going to be 5 Requiems, I said, that's absolutely fine, but I called dibs on the Mozart. So it was, I adore the Fauré, I love the Brahms, the Verdi's amazing, but I had to grab the Mozart. So that's why you're with me, and I'm so pleased that you're here. Now, we're going to be having a look tonight at a variety of the movements. Obviously, this week, in our sectional rehearsals, which start tomorrow with sopranos, and then altos, tenors, basses, as usual. This week, we're going to be looking at the first 2 or 3 movements of the Requiem, and we'll proceed through the work as always, working through. We will be learning, folks, we will be learning all of the solo movements as well. Okay, and we'll talk more about that in a minute, but that's one of the unique things, one of the things that makes Self-Isolation Choir very special, is that you can learn the solo parts as well. Now, I've got some general notices, as Marcus said, some parish notices. So for those of you who are new to the choir today, my name's Ben England, and Mark Strawn is the founder of the choir. You've all heard from him with his wonderful, wonderful emails. And so Mark has asked me to let you know about how we're going to be recording this piece and what we're going to be asking for. So first thing to say, if you don't want to send in a recording, if you don't want to submit anything for the final recording, that is absolutely fine. You know, those people who come along, who learn, who sing along with us, and who don't submit recordings, you are absolutely 100% as much in the choir as anybody who sent in a recording. So if you don't want to record, please don't worry about it. Second thing to say, it's audio only, so no videos will be required at all for this course. Now, if you would like to record yourself singing after we've taught this piece to you, well, then recordings will be opening. I've got to get the date right here. The 1st of February this year. We will be starting to accept submissions from then. We will create the usual conducting videos with the clap and please start your recording device now. And they'll be coming out to you. Look out for emails. Dates for that, as I say, is the 1st of Feb for submissions. We'll then be singing through the full Requiem with the Fieri consorts, lovely recordings here, on the 5th of Feb. Okay. We'll then close recordings on the 15th. So you've got 2 weeks to submit the entire Requiem. And I appreciate that's quite a narrow window, but on the other hand, the amount of music that we've got to sing is far, far less than Elijah or Messiah. And I think you'll appreciate once we get to the end of it, a lot of the music repeats. So 2 weeks to record the whole thing. Close of recordings then is the 15th of Feb. We'll then have a dress rehearsal on the 4th of March, and then the full world premiere of your rendition of the Mozart Requiem will be on the 6th of March at 7 p.m. So that's the end goal, if you like. But of course, in between now and then, we have the joy of learning and exploring this amazing work. So what we're going to do, everybody, is to begin with, we'll get warmed up and we'll have a little sing through. And if you've never sung it before, we'll have a little listen through to the first couple of movements. Tonight, as I said, we'll just dip in and out of some of these pieces and I'll give you some of the background to the work. I think we'll have a lot of fun. So if I can invite everybody, please, as we always do, if I could invite you to stand up for me, to be upstanding, thank you, planting those feet a shoulder's width apart, making your knees nice and soft. Well done, everybody. Nice straight back and a long neck. And those of you that are standing and have done everything there, take a nice deep breath in and out and breathe that air away from you. And those of you for whom standing is not on the menu, that is, of course, absolutely fine. Please don't worry about it. But if you would be able, please, to give yourself a straight back and a long neck as well, that would be marvellous. And everybody, we're going to take some lovely deep breaths in and out. Just in your own time. Deep breath and breathe out when you're ready. And as you're taking these breaths in and out in your own time, and please continue to breathe deeply, I'm just going to ask you to breathe in that lovely, warm feeling of singing with friends. We're back after the break. We've got an amazing work to learn. Your conductor is really fired up about teaching it to you. We're going to have a fantastic time. So you can breathe all that in and then breathe out anything that's bothering you, anything that's worrying you. If there are any little vestiges of 2020 left in there, let's get rid of them. So let's do that together, shall we? Nice tall mouth. Breathe in. And blow the air away. Marvellous. One more tall mouth as we breathe in. Hold it and breathe out. Thank you very, very much indeed. And just continue to breathe deeply, everybody, as we just roll our shoulders around, please. Thank you very much. And once you've rolled them in one direction, roll them the other way. And don't do this too quickly. This is just about releasing tension and just being aware of how you're feeling in your upper body, particularly your shoulders and your neck. Once you've rolled them around a little bit, please, folks, just allow your neck to relax. Just give yourself permission to relax. And then if you can just tilt your head to one side and just feel the stretch along the long side. Wonderful. To the middle and the other way. Wonderful. Just feel that stretch to the middle and forwards. Thank you, everybody. And to the middle. Lovely. And let's just repeat that, please. So whichever way you went, first go the same way and just allow your neck to stretch just a little bit more if you can. Thank you, everyone. And the other way, feeling that stretch. And to the middle and forwards. Thank you. and to the middle. And just within those 3 movements, left, right, and forwards, please, just let your head roll gently around. Well done. I'm just glancing at the comments as they're flying up and looking, seeing we've got 982 concurrent viewers online, which is fantastic. Thanks, everybody. So let's do a bit of humming, shall we? Actually, let's do a bit of humming in D minor. Okay, D minor is a very important key. We'll be talking about this a bit more as we go. So we're just going to hum on that D, and we're going to make it quite a dark sound. Okay, nice deep breath, and let's hum together. And again, same hum, and lovely. Now can I have an for November, and excellent. Now an ooh, and ooh, lovely. And now an O for orange, and oh, great. F for egg, and again, same sound, and lovely. Now an R with the tall mouth, and same again, and lovely. And now after me, please, my turn first. Repeat what I do. Thank you. Ya, ya, ya. Very good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Great. Me, me, me. Excellent. Basses and altos drop down the octave. Tenors and sopranos with me. Yo, yo, yo. Excellent. And yo, yo, yo. Excellent. Thank you very much indeed, everybody. Now, we will need notes, maybe a semitone higher than that as we go, but that's a nice place, I think, to leave our warm-up, and we'll make a start, please, everybody, on this wonderful, wonderful Requiem. Now, as I said at the start of the session, we will be learning the movements in sectional rehearsals, and the full rehearsals at the start of each week will usually be revision. So it'll be a case of, these are the movements we sang last week, let's sing them through, and here are the movements for the coming week. So what we'll do today, well, we'll obviously have a look, as I said, at these first 2-3 movements of the Requiem, and then I'm going to cherry pick some of the absolute delights, in particular for those of you that have never sung this amazing work before. So, the Requiem in D minor by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. I'm really interested to see how many people have not sung it before. I think there's probably more people in the choir that have sung it that haven't. It is one of those pieces. I have never yet turned down the chance to sing the Mozart Requiem, and as a result I've sung it probably about a dozen times. I've been lucky enough to conduct it 6 times, and each time I encounter this work, this is my seventh time conducting it, each time I encounter the piece, it teaches me more about music, it teaches me more about singing and about conducting and about life. It's an incredible piece of work. It is obviously very, very famously unfinished. And if you've ever seen the movie Amadeus, you'll know quite a lot of the Requiem anyway, because the Requiem is featured very heavily in the play and in the film towards the end. I do have to burst a couple of bubbles, though, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you that are fans of Amadeus, and I count myself among them, I'm afraid it's not true. All right, a lot of the myths that have grown up about the Requiem, a lot of them, I'm afraid, are well, I hate to use the term fake news, but they really are. The first thing to bear in mind is that this legend of Mozart writing this Requiem for himself, the idea that he was poisoned, this business of Salieri, being his enemy and so on, absolute poppycock. The Salieri angle was created for the play. In actual fact, Salieri and Mozart were great friends. Salieri was an amazing teacher and composer. And in fact, without him, we wouldn't have had the music of Schubert. He was a teacher of Schubert later on. So I want to start by clearing Salieri's name to all of you out there. Okay, please. The film is very entertaining, but Salieri did not kill Mozart. The thing with the Requiem is that it was commissioned by Mozart. There's this legend that it was commissioned by a shadowy figure in a hood, and Mozart never knew who it was. In actual fact, we do know who commissioned the Requiem. It was Count Franz von Walsegg. And he was a nobleman who lived fairly close to Vienna. And he had a little bit of a naughty habit, everybody. He would commission composers to write a piece of music and would pay them a little bit extra so that they would deliver it to him. And he would then pass off these works as his own. This was his little trick. And he'd done this many, many times before. And you could look him up, Count Franz von Walsegg, a very interesting character. And he commissioned Mozart's Requiem with the intention, we think, of passing it off as his own to commemorate his wife who died the year before. So Mozart set to work on this Requiem in the autumn of 1791, which is the last year of his life. And he really struggled with it, because he wasn't very well. He was suffering from all sorts of illnesses and was working very, very hard as well. Now, on his death, and we'll talk more about Mozart's death as we go through the course, but on his death, his widow Constanza commissioned his students to finish the work. And this is where the legend of it being dictated and the legend of him being poisoned and all the rest of it, all of this came from Constanza. And I'm not going to say any more at this point. This is the first drop of the bucket. We're going to do some singing now before I turn this whole thing into a lecture. There'll be more on the history of the Mozart Requiem as we go. But we're going to start with the very first movement, everybody, which you'll find on the first page of our score. Hopefully you've all got this wonderful PDF. If you haven't, we've sent out a link to a paper score that is largely the same. Now, this opening here, it's very dark. D minor is a very dark key. You get a lot of requiems in this key. And so when we sing this, have this first movement, have it almost be veiled, as if you are singing from underneath a big hood. Requiem, that sort of heavy sound. So let's enjoy the wonderful Fieri Consort with Richard Gowers on the organ. Wonderful, wonderful musicians. And we're going to go through the first movement here, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the fugue that follows, because it's very interesting, particularly those of you that sang Messiah. So let's enjoy the first movement. So, as I say, nice and dark. Here we go. Okay, this is the bar before A. Ready basses. Letter A here. And tenors. Altos. Sopranos. Okay, sopranos. And C. and D and tenors, sopranos. Wow. Thank you, everybody. And can I thank for the first time, but definitely not the last time, the incredible Fieri Consort for their phenomenal singing. And I know that Mark is going to be sharing a link, if he hasn't already, with a wonderful video that Lucy from the consort has recorded, just saying how much they enjoyed recording this. And remember that this is a choir that sings regularly, beautiful 8-part motets and so on. It's quite rare for a choir of this size to be asked to sing the Requiem, and they have absolutely nailed it. Oh, so, so beautiful. Now, we'll be learning that movement starting tomorrow with the sopranos and then the altos, tenors, basses, of course, throughout the week. So much to talk about. We'll talk more about it tomorrow and so on. Now, what follows straight on is the fugue, okay? The Kyrie eleison, all right? Oh, and some people are saying it's a very long pause at the end on that aes. Absolutely it is. Absolutely. It's called building anticipation, everybody. So one thing just a little tip about this last note before the allegro on that aes, it's a count of 10. Okay, it's a long note, so just be ready for that. So the fugue that follows, if the opening of the Requiem, if you imagine these hooded figures all processing and gathering together, the Kyrie is like a lighting of a torch or something. It suddenly bursts into life, into fire here. And we get the first little hints of some of the fire that Mozart's going to bring. Now, a lovely little Easter egg, if you like, on this. Some of you were with us when we sang Handel's Messiah. And in Handel's Messiah, there is a wonderful fugue that goes, "And with his stripes we are healed." Some of you will remember it because, well, it wasn't that long ago. Now, what's interesting about about Handel's Messiah in regards to Mozart is that he knew Handel's Messiah very, very well. He'd been commissioned only 2 years before the writing of the Requiem. He'd been commissioned by Baron von Sweeting, another great name, to arrange a whole load of choral works from the Baroque era and to reorchestrate them for a then contemporary orchestra. And so Mozart reorchestrated and rearranged Handel's Messiah to include full parts for flutes and clarinets and horns and so on. Some of you, I'm sure, will have heard, maybe even performed this version. So Mozart knew Handel's Messiah very, very well. And so with that and with his stripes, listen to it again. Now, listen to the start of the Kyrie. Listen to this. And so on. Sound familiar? It should do, because he's quoted, and with his stripes here, as the Kyrie fugue. How about that for the self-isolation choir? Lovely little link there. Okay, so this fugue is absolutely wonderful to sing. It has some semiquavers, so we're going to need to do some work on the sort of the runny singing that we did with Messiah. But unlike Messiah, Mozart, I think, I don't want to denigrate Handel. Handel obviously is an amazing composer, but sometimes he asked his vocalists to do the kind of singing that really, his choristers even, to do the kind of singing that soloists should have to do. Mozart had a better understanding of what choristers are capable of and happy to do. So the Kyrie, I find it great fun to sing. Hopefully you will too. So basses lead, as they often do in the Requiem. You notice the basses come in quite often at the very start. Gentlemen, we're gonna lead the way. So we're gonna sing the Kyrie, which in my score is page 9, and straight in at Allegro. And do please enjoy. Right, I'm gonna wait for my computer to wake up. Here we go. So there's your notes. And well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's how you sing that one, isn't it? Wonderful, wonderful singing. The effortless sound that this incredible little choir, the wonderful Fieri Consort creates is amazing. What I can't wait for, as I've said though, is to hear the voices of the Self-Isolation Choir singing that. Absolutely wonderful music. Couple of things before we move on that one. Again, if you were with us for Messiah, you remember the little theory nugget that I dropped in was the hemiola, and many of you got quite taken with the idea of the hemiola. In Elijah, we were talking about tritones and so on. In the Mozart Requiem, the little theoretical nugget that I'm going to be going on about again and again and again is what's called the diminished seventh, ladies and gentlemen. This is a diminished seventh. If you want to create one on a keyboard, well, you need to stack minor thirds on top of each other. So there's one, and there's another minor third, and another. And the thing about the diminished seventh, folks, is it creates a huge amount of tension that then must release. You will very, very rarely see a piece ending on a diminished seventh. And so Mozart uses these throughout. You heard that in the where is it? Eleison, to create that tension, to lead into the last chord. Kyrie. And then this last chord here, this is what's called a bare fifth. There's no third in that chord, which is why that last chord sounds so bare and so powerful and so stark, because it's not telling us how to feel. There's no minor third or major third. It is just that big sound. So when we get to that chord, son, give me lots and lots of power on that one. Okay, now, well done, everybody. What we follow then on with that is the Dies Irae, okay? Day of vengeance, day of fire. And this is a big, loud movement. We'll have lots of fun with it. I just want to take this point to note that the first two movements of the Requiem are the only two that Mozart actually completed in full. So we have all of the scores, we've got the vocal parts, we've got the instrumental parts. Everything that we've just heard was written by Mozart. From this point, for several movements, what we have left, that he left for us, is sort of unfinished. In some cases, the string parts weren't written. In some cases, it was just quiet and bass. And as we proceed, by the time we get to the Lacrimosa, there's not a lot that's Mozart. So I'll point these out to you. But the Dies Irae is just fire and brimstone and fun. So here are your chords, here are your notes, everybody. All right, Dies Irae. And when we learn this one, lots and lots of, as I say, fire and brimstone. If you were with us for Elijah, this is, I think the fire descends from heaven for your cue. Okay, so here is Dies Irae, everybody. And, where are they?
Dies Irae, Dies Irae, sole secum in favela, est David cum Sibylla.
And
Quantus est vultus, quantus est
ready? And
Dies Irae, Dies Irae, sole secum in favela, est David cum Sibylla.
and
Quantus tremor est vulturus, quantum iurex est venturus, cunctas stricte discussorus.
Quantus tremores futurus,
Dies Irae, Dies Irae,
quantus tremores futurus,
Dies Irae, Dies Irae.
quantus tremores futurus,
Quantus tremores futurus, quantum iudex est venturus, cunctas stricte discussorus. Cunctas stricte discussorus. Cunctas stricte discussorus.
wonderful, wonderful. I've just noticed I've gone out of focus. Sorry, folks. That's just one of the hazards of the light disappearing outside. It's not don't worry, it's not Vaseline. It's not one of these filters. Oh, well, hopefully it'll pick up in a minute. Apologies the fact that I'm slightly fuzzy, but it all will be well. I'm sure the camera will pick up in a minute. Now, look, that piece of music, ladies and gentlemen, is, as I say, pure fire and brimstone, and we're going to have so much fun with it. I'm going to be encouraging you to get quite animated in your diction, and to give you lots and lots of nice big consonants. Now, I'm going to have to, excuse me a second, let me see if I can. You actually get to see close up of my wrinkled face. There we go. No. Oh, Sorry. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to skip the next movement, the lovely two-bar Miriam. It is gorgeous, but I'd quite like to take us on and have a look at the Rex Tremendae, which you'll find in my score on page 25. Margaret's saying you look fine, Ben. Yes, it's the Vaseline approach. The Rex Tremendae, which is so much fun. I had a conductor once who called this movement, this is Mozart calling for his dog. If you've never heard this one before, well, you let me know if you think that joke was funny. Now this one is very, very Handelian indeed. Lots and lots of dotted and double dotted notes. So we hear this dum dum ba-dum 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 ba-dum. And if you were with us for Messiah, you might think surely da-dum da-dum the surely. That, I think, is a big influence on this movement. Now, as I say, if you've sung it before, sing it with me. Big, big shouts of Rex, as I say, Mozart calling for his dog across the park. And then this wonderful, wonderful cascading textural delight of the choir singing against each other. Great piece. So here is, again, the wonderful Fieri Consort. With Richard Gowers, here is Rex Tremendae. Enjoy, everybody. Here we go. Deep breath, and
Rex. Rex. Rex.
and
Rex Tremendae Majestatis. Rex qui salvanos salvat gratis. Salvame.
and
Salvame.
oh, thank you, everybody. And well, I'm sure you'll agree. What a piece! It starts off with this. Wow, the majesty, king, Rex Tremendae, a glorious majesty, and Mozart's taken the Handelian trick of double dotted rhythms, which comes from the French tradition, the French overture tradition. So he's using Baroque tropes, if you like, to create the pomp and majesty of the Rex. But of course, it can't hold because once he sings about the majesty of the Lord, he then save me, and so the music comes down in intensity, and you get that descending line, Salvame, which is so contrasting and so beautiful. Well, everybody, let's have a look at the next one. Now, this next one is a solo movement, and as I said at the start, we are going to teach you, as we did with Elijah, we're going to teach you all the semi-chorus and solo stuff. Now, those of you that don't want to sing the solo at all, you don't have to worry about it. Please consider coming along and learning it anyway. You never know. One day you might be singing it in your face-to-face choir, and the soloist is taken ill, at which point say, well, I know it. And we are going to ask you to submit recordings for this. We're going to produce 2 versions of the Requiem. One is going to be, well, actually 3 technically. One is the Fieri Consort. One is Self-Isolation Choir and Fieri Consort Soloist. And the plan at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, don't hold us to this necessarily, but we are aiming to produce a Self-Isolation Choir version where the choir sings everything. So lots and lots of fun. Now, this movement, having had quite a lot of Sturm und Drang up until this point, and lots of quite intense sound. This is the first time that the choir gets to sit down, and so if you are standing, please sit down. First time this evening. And this is where the soloists will come out and sing this beautiful Recordare, which is just a salve on a burn. It's so, so beautiful. After the fire of the Dies Irae, Mozart has very deliberately placed this soothing music. And notice, as it starts, it's cascading water. It's love and joy coming from above. So enjoy this one. If you've never sung it before, consider having a sing-along, or just listen. We'll be learning this one next week. So here is, oddly enough, Fieri singing Recordare. Here we go. Isn't Richard Gowers an amazing organist, folks? He's so good. Good Lord. Altos, bass, soprano, tenor, and G. This is now the top of page 30. And H. ladies and gentlemen. Isn't that just so beautiful? Do you see what I mean about cascading water to just soothe the poor singed souls from the Dies Irae? Absolutely lovely. And yes, a couple of people saying it's fast. This is Mozart's tempo marking, everybody. It's never meant to be. When I've sung this before, some of the conductors I've worked with have kept it very, very steady. And the problem is you start to end up feeling the quaver beats, and I've always wanted to feel almost one in a bar with that, because it's such a beautiful dance. So thank you, everybody. Now, what follows is, I think, perhaps the most intense pair of movements in the entire work. The Confutatis followed by the Lacrimosa. Now, at this point, I want to just remind you that Mozart didn't finish this great work. He died during the creation of it. It was finished by at least one of his students, possibly two. The student that we know of is Franz Xavier Sussmayer, who was a pupil of Mozart's, and Constanza, his wife, his widow, I should say, commissioned Sussmayer to finish the work so that she could collect the second half of the money that was owed to Mozart for the Requiem. She then subsequently staged a public performance of the completed work, which rather scuppered the plans of the Count, who'd planned to pass it off as his own. Now, the reason I bring this up is that the Lacrimosa, which follows on from this movement, was very, very incomplete. And if you want to hear what Mozart actually wrote after this rehearsal, have a look on YouTube for what's known as Mozart's Written Requiem. Okay, written, W-R-I-T-T-E-N. Mozart's Written Requiem. You can hear various recordings, one of which is very good, which will show you the score as you're listening, and all that they've recorded is just what Mozart wrote. So you hear the Lacrimosa with just the voices, and it stops, ladies and gentlemen, at a very key point, which we'll talk about in a moment. So the Confutatis that follows, this is again, fire and brimstone. The basses lead with the tenors just 2 beats behind, and then the sopranos and altos appear to soothe, again, everybody's troubled souls before the fire starts up again. So, I mean, this is Mozart at his most dramatic, and one of the very, very last things he ever composed. So let's sing together. Now, basses. Confutatis. Okay, and tenors. Confutatis. Those are your notes. I can't wait to teach this to you, everybody. But let's sing along with it anyway. Let me just wake my computer up. So here we go. Confutatis, basses, and...
Confutatis,
now, letter A. That's it. And basses. And then the Lacrimosa. Now, Mozart only actually wrote 6 bars of choir. So,
Lacrimosa, ti esila, qua resurget ex favilla.
and that, ladies and gentlemen, is where the score stops. The last words that Mozart ever set to music were homo reus, or judicantus homo reus. The guilty man will then be judged. Now, whether that was deliberate or not, I don't know. Now, we're going to start the movement again. And I'm sorry to do that to you, but the written requiem that I was telling about stops at that point. Nothing more is sung, and it's extraordinary. And I would recommend you have a listen to it. Now, of course, what happened is when Mozart passed away, his work was carried on by his students. And of course, if you're going to ask somebody to complete a work by a great composer, you're going to ask the people that he taught, because they stand the best chance, I think, of completing it. And Süssmayr did a really, really good job of the majority of these movements. A lot of notes apparently were left by Mozart, and he'd obviously had a couple of conversations with him. So let's sing from the beginning of the Lacrimosa one more time. I won't stop it this time. We'll go all the way through to the end. The Amen is incredibly powerful. So let's have this one. Of course, this one, Lacrimosa, crying tears, and very much the heart of the Requiem. So one more time, everybody. Here is the Lacrimosa from the beginning. Here we go. Deep breath. And
Lacrimosa, ti esila, qua resurget ex favilla.
ready, coming in 2 beats, ready, and Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have a sip of my drink to cover the fact that I'm quite moved. And as I said, I've sung this piece. I don't know how many times I've conducted it, I've played, I've listened to it, and it never fails to stir my soul. That last cadence, that Amen. It could almost be the end of the piece, couldn't it? If Constanza hadn't commissioned the subsequent movements, a bit like the Great Mass in C minor, which is missing key parts, you could very easily stage this. The fact that we have the rest of it is marvellous, but oh my goodness, that to me is the first ending of the Requiem. Now, let's just have a little bit of a look at what follows. Now, not to say that what follows isn't excellent music and that Mozart didn't have a hand in at least some of it. What follows is the wonderful Domine Jesu, and quite a lot of this was left by Mozart in the form of notes and so on. The fugue is based on something that he'd written previously, and Susmer and another of his students, a chap called Abel, they both worked on these movements. And so let's have a little sing through, a little look at the Domine Jesu, this wonderful Quam Olim Abrahe fugue that starts in my score on page 48 at letter O. This Quam Olim Abrahe promisisti et semini eius. It's a great little tune, and you'll really enjoy that. So let's have a sing through Domine Jesu, and if we have time, we'll follow that with a Hostias. All right, so page 44 in my score, number 8. I'll give you your notes, basses, tenors, altos, and sopranos. Here we... Oh, my computer's gone to sleep again. Sorry. Bear with me a minute. I think it's getting a bit emotional as well. I don't blame it. Right, so let's try. Here are your notes again. Domine Jesu. Here we go. And...
Domine Jesu Christe, Rex Gloria, Rex Gloria,
and K. Then we'll learn the solos as well. Alto. Tenor. Basses. Wow. I've heard that piece many, many times. I've never heard it with that clarity. Absolutely, phenomenal intent. Wonderful, wonderful singing from our phenomenal Fieri consort friends and partners. Thank you guys for your hard work on this. It sounds wonderful. That last clash on that cadence there, that's masterfully done. Now, everybody, we're obviously going to be exploring all of the movements of the Requiem over the next few weeks, starting tomorrow with the sopranos, where we'll be looking at the first 2, hopefully 3 movements. And so if you want to get a head start and you want to have a little listen, well, obviously we've played them for you tonight, and so you can always sing along with tonight's rehearsal at any point. And that's, again, one of the great things for those of you that are new. One of the great things about online singing, well, you can come along and you can sing anytime you like, and it's all recorded for you. So if you're a soprano, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm aware that it's 6 o'clock, so we need to finish now, but we'll be back tomorrow with sopranos with the first 3 movements, and then it'll be altos on Wednesday, tenors and basses then on Friday. Sorry, tenors on Thursday, basses on Friday, and I'll see you all together in a week's time, where we'll be looking at some more of this lovely music. In the meantime, everybody, it's so great to see you. It's so great to see so many people online, and I really, really can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to the next few weeks. So all of you, take care. All right, keep safe, stay well, and please just enjoy your singing as much as you can, and look forward to seeing you again very, very soon. So lots of love to all of you. And sopranos, see you tomorrow. Of course, if you want to come along, if you're not a soprano, come along, all right? We love to have errant tenors and basses and altos in all our rehearsals. So we'll see you soon. All right, folks, take care. See you tomorrow. All the best. Bye-bye.